All right. How we all doing tonight, guys?
Doing
Doing
good.
great.
It's Victory
Everyone's alive
Monday.
and kicking. Well, and yeah, it is Monday. It's one of those days. It's you show up to work. It's kind of a rough day because you're going back to work from the weekend. You know, or like us here we are about to talk about a game, and it wasn't pretty. No, it wasn't. But still pulled it out, got it together. I honestly, I'm so on another stream. My guy Jason, I was watching him, and he asked for a score prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I put in 24-20 because I just felt it was going to be one of those games. I was close.
Very
I
close.
was really hoping it'd be like 34-17, something like that, but no.
That was all of our hopes.
Yes. I'm pretty sure everybody watching was hoping for something like that too,
Yeah.
right? But the Packers, they were hot coming in. A lot of people were talking about how the Rams were hot going into the playoffs. Okay, they won 2 games by the opposing team missing a field goal. So I don't list that as hot. The Packers won their games going in. They were hot. They started to play their best football at the end of the season. And then they rolled into Dallas and slapped them up pretty good. And they came to San Francisco, and I'm gonna ask the thought: were we rusty? Let's start with Aaron.
I'm trying to calm down because that game really has me in a bad place. Yeah, they look pretty rusty. They look like a team that, for the most part, most players hadn't played in 3 weeks or 20 days. Other than a couple people, that was the case. They look like they had absolutely zero rhythm in the game. I can't say they looked uninspired. I don't think an athlete coming into a playoff game is not inspired, but they came off flat. And I had a worry going into this game. That's because I said the Green Bay Packers have 0 to lose. They have no pressure on them. The Niners have all the pressure. They're the number 1 seed. It's Super Bowl or bust. And now you're playing against some upstart team who's really young, who's really good, and a quarterback that's starting to kind of figure out who he is. And it had the recipe to be a really scary, strange game. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm not one of those people that says, well, it's good learning experience. It's good learning experience. It's freaking almost February, dude. How many learning experiences or lessons learned do you need at this point in the season? So the Niners escaped, but to say they were rusty would be an understatement. And I thought they played some of their worst ball of the season in that game for sure. So I'm happy they won. I'm happy they have a chance to get a shot at a Super Bowl. But I'm not like singing the praises and thinking they're like this juggernaut. You're gonna take a lot of effort to go into the next game and beat the Detroit Lions. So that's all I got to say.
BC, what are your thoughts, buddy?
So, yeah, it was a little disappointing to see certain things that happened in the game. And I'm not trying to be Mr. Positive all the time or anything like that. But at the beginning and the ending, it's not really how you start, it's how you finish. And at the end, you look at the wins or the losses. And, years from now, we'll look back and we'll say, did they win that game? Now, when you want to get interesting and you want to get into it, you start talking to somebody who watched the game, and then they can say it was a back and forth game, this or that. But when you read the stats don't tell the whole story. The whole story isn't really told like that. You have to kind of really, you got to live it, right? You got to see it. So the Packers, I've been saying it a lot. Like they're an up and coming team. They're not that far off. They're really what Aaron Rodgers removed. They've been rebuilding in a certain direction. They're not that bad, and letting a team come in hot That's exactly what we got. We got a team that came in hot, that beat the Packers. The Packers beat the Cowboys, and then we let our team cool off. We let our team lose to the Rams. And we were like, oh, it's okay. It's not okay. And it doesn't matter how many people sat down and rested because we didn't need a couple players to rest because of injury, or nagging, pain, or just a break, like a bye week for them. You don't want to cool off too much. You're the first seed. You got to prove it to everybody that you are the first seed. Our last 3 games, we lost 2 games. 2 out of the last 3 we lost. So it's not something that you want to hang your hat on. Coming in, we seemed a little rusty. So
Nah, we wasn't rusty. The offensive line looked a bit rusty. Everyone else looked pretty much the same. I think weather affected things, so that kind of skewed things a lot. You saw a lot of slipping out there. We all know Brock can't throw a wet ball to save his life, so that affected him. And yeah, it's true. We can say that. We've seen the evidence.
100%, Ty. I 100% agree with you. And I'm Mr. Brock apologist here.
Yeah. When he did look good is when the rain stopped.
Yep.
Just saying. So, yeah. So I think at certain positions, certain things look rusty to begin with, especially the O-line. They was allowing way too much pressure.
Yeah.
In the beginning and not opening holes. They took a while to get going. But no, I don't think it was rust. I'm not buying into that. I'm not buying into Green Bay was hot. Matt LaFleur has built that team to kind of mirror Kyle Shanahan's team. He's mini Kyle. And many people are forgetting that we played this team in the divisional round just 2 years ago. And it was the exact same game. It was even throughout. It was a game in which we didn't score an offensive touchdown. Like that game was tightrope down to the end. So we all went into this kind of overconfident. Oh, we're the 1 seed and they're the 7, but styles make fights, and you got 2 of the same type of fighters in there. This is what you're going to get. And when we play them next season, expect the same.
100% on everything you just said.
Hey, you know me.
Usually me and you, might be off. We might be off like a little bit here.
Yeah.
But hundreds across the board. Yeah. The style makes fights is 100%. Mm-hmm. I was like, ooh, I'm stealing that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think my thing going into that game, and everyone was like, I was on Bashar's stream. We do our stream on Saturday. He's like, Aaron, you don't seem like super excited. I said, I'm nervous. And he's like, why? And I'm like, just a feeling. Mm-hmm. There's just something about being rested or not playing meaningful football for 3 weeks, going against a team who has nothing. They don't have anything to lose. They're not expected to win anyways. Yeah. You're expected to win the Super Bowl or at least get there, right? The Niners played like a team with the piano on their back during that game. They just didn't play. They didn't look like they were having fun or playing freely. The Packers were out there having fun. They were at the 1 seed's place, making plays, and the crowd's getting nervous. Everybody's scared. The weather's bad. And they're just there like, you know what? We're not even supposed to be here. So let's go out there and play. And they played so loose. The Niners played so uptight. I was uptight watching the game because I just had this. It's like when they say a nagging feeling or a premonition. And everyone's like, well, you're always negative. I'm like, yeah, I am. But usually when I see certain teams are like, the Niners are really good in this matchup. They'll do good in this matchup. I had a feeling. And I didn't think it was going to be that bad as far as how the game turned out. But, hey, we won, like you guys said. But play like that against the Lions, you might find yourself on the other end of an ass whooping. So that's all I got to say.
Well, you ain't lying there. No pun intended. But so the Lions, speaking of, remember this news a few months back? Oh, the Niners are eyeing Zach Ertz. He signs with the Lions?
Yeah, I saw that today.
Like, they have Sam Laporta. Obviously, you're going to have a week with the team. how are you going to build any sort of rapport going on here? Chemistry with the quarterback. How, like, I
Yeah.
personally, I don't get it. But
This late in the game, that means I'm thinking Laporta may be more injured than they want to say. Maybe he's a little dinged up after that game. Who knows? But yeah,
could be.
let him play and let him run the wrong route, and a ball goes sailing into the arms of one of our guys. I would love to see it.
Supposed to run a corner. He
Mhm.
runs a comeback.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of people are making something of this. So Jared Goff is 1-7 against the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Jared Goff with the Rams, not
Exactly.
Jared Goff with the Lions.
Yeah, I think
Well, he does have one loss.
Yeah.
Remember, we started
Right.
the 2021 season. First game we played
Yeah.
the Jared Goff-led Rams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You mean Lions?
I mean Lions. Sorry.
That was the one where they had the pick 6 by Dre Greenlaw.
Yep.
We were up a bunch in that game. They took our starters out, and we had to bring them back in because we started losing, or they started coming back.
When did he go to their team? Did we play him in 2018 too?
The Lions? No, he just went to the Lions in 2021.
2021? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for a lot of his games are from his time with the Rams. So, that's still 1-7 against us. But at the same time, they weren't the same team they are now.
Exactly. They rebuilt that team.
I don't know. I mean, Baker Mayfield did what? 340
He was lighting them up.
Yeah,
he was lighting them up.
And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're good wide receivers, but we have when it comes to weaponry, we have an arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that defense, they are suspect. They'll give up points. They'll give up drives.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there any like Hutchinson? Yeah, that guy's an impact player. So as long as he's lining up over on Trent Williams' side, I'm not too worried about him.
Hutchinson is like TJ Watt. He stays on the left side. He doesn't move. That's his spot. That's where he likes to rush from. He'll stay there. And he's kind of like TJ Watt in that he has just this never-ending high-end motor. Will hit you with a bunch of different moves, speed, power. We saw him doing his spin move, everything. So he's kind of relentless. So
yeah, the thing I'm honestly worried about though is the Lions don't just they don't go beat everyone big time, or they find a way to win games, tight games that they shouldn't win. They've lost some games that they should have won too. At the same time, same thing with us though. We've lost some games we should have won.
Yeah,
but I'm not scared of Jared Goff. Their coach, yeah, he's pretty good, but their defense has been getting ran on and passed on all season long.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. Our offense didn't look good in the rain. Don't know what the forecast says. I'm not even looking at that till Friday.
I heard it was going to be clear and sunny, but I don't trust the damn weather to save its life.
The wind can shift.
Hey, a good weatherman's right 50% of the time. Okay, so it's just one of those things. Right?
Yeah.
Remember what Doc said in Back to the Future, the original one. When can weathermen predict the weather, let alone the future? Or no, it was Marty. I forget. Yeah, something like that. Sorry, I had to go there.
I actually like that movie. My daughter said that's intense when she saw it. She was 10, but at the time. But I mean the Rams, not the Rams. I'm calling them the Rams. You notice that because of Jared Goff. So the Lions have won 2 playoff games, and they haven't won one of those since 91.
Yeah,
and they did beat the Buccaneers by multiple scores. It's just one of those things. It's Baker Mayfield, kind of a what do you expect type of thing. They're coming to town where they're not playing in a dome, like they were against the Cowboys when they lost that game with the refs not checking the guy in as a that incident that actually cost that referee and crew a chance to referee a playoff game. So that they were indoors, they were in a dome. They're not in a dome now, they're outside. Is that going to have an effect on the game? Let's start with Aaron.
I don't think so. I think my issues is not with their defense. It's with our defense. Our defense can match up. Niners have had some issues with tackling and stopping the run, and they haven't gotten any pressure on anybody in quite a long time. They're not touching any quarterbacks. On the road, at home, they've been, since they have their new coach, they're not the same old Lions. They're a really good team. They have a lot of talent on offense. Their defense, I think we have a chance to do some things against them as long as we don't get in our own way. I think we can move the ball. I think we can score. I think we can throw it. I think we could run it. My worry is the defense. Our defense they're not playing well. They haven't been playing well for probably 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. We have all really good players. Like you look at the stat sheet, and it's like, wow, Bosa, Hargrave, Chase Young, Armstead, Greenlaw, all these guys, but they're just names right now. I mean, Chase Young and Bosa, they don't touch quarterbacks. You got Chase Young being blocked out by wide receivers. Like, I don't know, man. That's what was stressed me out in that game is when you hear after the game, we got to do things. We got to tighten things up. We got to do this. We got to look at film. It's like, shouldn't you have been doing that during the bye week? All this talk about being prepared and this, that, and the other. And it was, this isn't the same old Lions, man. They're not a shitty team. They're a good team. They're a really good team. So the Niners, prepare to bring your lunch pail and prepare to get punched in the mouth, and you be the bully that we know we all can be, and punch them back and put them back in their place. Yeah. Like I said, I'm in a hot mood this week because the Niners really disappointed me in that game. They pissed me off a lot. So I'm not go team. Like I want them to prove something to me, not that I matter or anything, but whatever.
Well, you do have a point though. Yeah, our defense has been giving up some yards. It seems like when it's time to make a play though, they've been holding them out. The other team kicking field goals, although Gibson slipped, and they got a touchdown off that.
What's more important, giving up yards or giving up points?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It. And
you gotta think of this defense. What's they've historically been a bend but don't break defense. That's been since Saleh was there. You bend but you don't break. When it comes down to, all right, they're in the 30, they're in the 20 red zone, it's time to tighten up. They do that. Look at what happened to Philly this year. Instead of getting 7s, held them to 3s.
Correct.
That was the difference. Yeah. We've seen that throughout this entire year. It's what they do.
Well, I gotta shout out Greenlaw and Lenore yesterday, though.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys showed up. Holy cow!
Their minds.
I'm looking at this like, why aren't these guys like Lenore? Honestly, there's most of the season he's been better than Ward.
Yeah,
Ward did get to have that knockaway in the end zone. He does make his plays, but Lenore was all over the place yesterday. So was Greenlaw, thumping people. Lenore gets that hit in bounds and then finishes them off out of bounds. It's like, I was expecting the refs to throw a flag, but they didn't.
It was a clean hit. It was clearly in bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was.
So you can't throw a flag on that.
He's in bounds when he was hitting him.
And the quarterback is a runner at that point. Like, dude, get out of bounds or slide. You're going to stay upright in bounds. You're going to get hit. And it was just a shove. It wasn't even a hit. It was just a shove. That's all he did.
Let me ask you guys a question real quick that has nothing to do with anything.
Sweet.
What is your thoughts on quarterbacks getting a different treatment when they have the ball in their hands? Do you think they need to do away with the quarterbacks, the whole the quarterback, you can't hit them, and they can slide on you and do all this, that, and the other. I was watching the game the other day with both quarterbacks running, Allen and even the Ravens. Yeah, it drives me insane that there's different rules for quarterbacks. I feel like if you were able to hit quarterbacks like you hit everybody else, and put a shoulder to someone's freaking chest, I feel like our fear as a 49er team, as far as our defense having to mess with robo quarterbacks, would go right out the window, because now we know if they get past the line of scrimmage, they can get belted. So I don't know.
Get lit up.
Yeah. They got to get rid of that, or they got to get rid of that rule. That's all I got to say. I'm sorry.
Hey, you have an extra point. Well, an excellent point. I was saying extra point, but we should be able to belt them once they take off with a ball in their hands. There should be their running back, and they should be able to be treated like a running back.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
If they're in the pocket, sure, you can't hit them high, you can't hit them low. Helmet to helmet's just plain supposed to be illegal all the way around anyway now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, nothing stopping Lenore from freaking laying a hit like you did on Swift in that game.
That would be the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's like putting a little bit of hot pepper on a dish that's a little flat.
Mm-hmm.
And then you shake it on, and you're like, "Woo, there we go." That's that kind of hit on a quarterback. That'll shut down real quick.
Yeah.
Quarterback trying to run the ball. That's all I got to say.
It really would. Guys like Lamar Jackson, running out of the pocket, taking off downfield, wouldn't be so worried about what he's an animal when it comes to that.
Yeah, he's so good. He's a freak.
But our guys wouldn't have to worry about, okay, we got to hit this zone, and you can't hit him low, hit him high, and he's sliding. We got to, we're already diving to hit him.
That's the problem with the rule.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be all right. They're a runner, so they're treated as a runner, but they're really not. They're still treated as a quarterback, just with the ball tucked under his arm. And it's just like you said, if you hit the guy too hard, they're going to be like, oh, that's unnecessary roughness. Well, he's a runner at that point. You're supposed to hit him. And the slide thing, we've seen many a times where these guys are supposed to clearly give themselves up early, and they'll push it to the limit, or they'll do a fake slide or fake dive. And the guy's already engaged, like the defensive player is already going for the tackle. And they go down late, and then the ref throws a flag. Oh, late hit. No, that was a late slide. It's reffed so badly that it does need to be looked at. It's one of those rules I hate because it's just not governed the same.
So they've changed it a couple of times, right? Like running backs, they've changed the way running backs are allowed to run. They were leading with their head, and now they are not allowed to lead with their head. That was like a defense for a lot of things, right? I don't understand that, and I don't understand why. Sometimes you're allowed to put your hands on people's face mask, and sometimes it's a penalty, and sometimes it's whatever. And you see it on offense and defense. It's a selective penalty that they choose to implement when they want to at will or whatnot. Yeah. I don't know, guys. We were talking the other night on Friday night, and we were saying, what's our problems? How are we going to lose this game if we beat ourselves? We had some penalties. We had some penalties that cost us yardage, that put us in bad positions. Even on the final drive, I think it was like 2 times that we got into the 3rd down and long. And I'm like, why are we can't run the ball like that and just continue. And here comes 3rd and Juwan saving the day. We can't always count on that, but that's what good teams do. Ugly wins happen. And again, a win is a win, and, good teams find a way at the end to prevail. So I just got to, take one game at a time, put this one in the back burner, forget about it a little bit, and look at the Lions, and look how the Ravens went and played against the Lions. Look how they played against us, and figure out if we can use those same things that the Ravens was doing against the Lions, and see how the Lions adjusted from that game out, because the Lions are a pretty hot team, and they got dismantled by the Ravens. So I don't know. Maybe we can go back and look at that and see what. And I'm sure they've already done it, but it looks like we got a good chance to be playing the Ravens in the Super Bowl if both teams just play their games right. But
you can't count Mahomes out, man.
I know it's getting hot. He's getting hot right now.
I said that in the middle of the season. Everyone was shitting on the guy, saying this, that, and the other. And I told look at my brother. I said, as long as the Chiefs have Mahomes, they're always going to be a threat. He's like, yep. I was like, I said they do this every year. Chiefs, I don't know. Mahomes doesn't have enough help. Blah 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 blah. I said playoffs are a different animal. What happens? Yep. Playoffs start. Playoff Mahomes starts. Mahomes in the playoffs, he's dangerous because all that stuff in the regular season, it's like, oh, well, if you lose that game, we just have the next game. In the playoffs, he has one of those games in the playoffs, you go home. And the Bills found that out, dude. Bills fans were talking so much mess here in Rochester. But Facebook was full of, what do you call fair weather fans? People I never knew were Bills fans, right?
Out of nowhere,
profiles. And I'm like, I said, if they lose, this is... Dude, it was like somebody pulled the pin on everything. And dude, it's a graveyard. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Nobody was talking. And I was like, my brother posted on his Instagram, the John Jameson, and Spider-Man, and he's
Jay Jonah,
and he's doing that laugh. Dude. It said the Bills had a home game and it still didn't matter. And then he has that laughing video of that guy. And I was just like, oh, that's going to sting some people. But yeah.
And they lost. Yeah. They lost in Bills fashion by a kicker.
Right.
That's not why they lost.
They lost because they couldn't play. Nobody played defense in that game. Did you notice that?
If they would have got that kick at the end of the game, they would have won that game.
It would have been tied. What? No, stop. It would have been tied. And Mahomes would have had about a minute and a half left on the clock.
They would have went right downfield
with 2 timeouts in his pocket.
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt about
them just a few years ago with 12 seconds on the clock and 2 timeouts. What do you think he was going to do with a minute and a half?
He would have spun and broke dance behind center, stood up, did a backflip, then threw the ball, sat down, do some of this, and then that would have been. I knew the Chiefs were going to win that game.
Josh Allen missed the receiver breaking wide open in the middle of the end zone. He threw a duck. Terrible pass. On the very next play, he had Diggs underneath, could have hit him for a first down. Instead, he scrambles right, throws the ball out of bounds. He's more to blame than the kicker.
Yep.
Well, see, that's the lovely thing about kickers, right? They're either the hero or they're the villain. They have one job.
Loneliest man on the team.
They're using him as the scapegoat, which is wrong.
It could be labeled as a scapegoat, but that's the whole thing. The kicker missed the kick, and if it would have happened, there's a very good chance that the game ended. Same thing with the
Packers. Let's say he makes the kick. It's tied. They're not winning or losing. It's tied.
Yeah, they didn't show it all, but they could stop Kansas City in that game. Pacheco was eating them alive in that game.
Yeah.
He was getting Mahomes, 6 yards of pops before getting touched.
Yeah.
It's just like
Mahomes still has time.
Let's transition back real quick. Ooh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
My take on that game is Josh Allen was playing timid. He wasn't trying to throw the ball downfield. He was, kind of dinking and dunking. It's almost like he was scared to make a mistake.
He was playing like Brock Purdy, right? Dink and dunk.
Well, he threw a bomb to Diggs up the rail on the right side.
What was Diggs doing? That was a beautiful throw, by the way. Wow.
You talk about having an arm. Oh my God.
That's like some video game stuff right there.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a moon ball. Like that thing went out of the screen and then dropped out of the screen. I was just like, wow.
Yo,
I love me some Brock, but oh man, that would be nice once in a while.
Yeah. That one was like, whoo. Yeah. But Diggs just
how?
What? You're supposed to be the man.
If that was Jerry Rice, that's a walk-in touchdown right there.
Jerry made that same catch in Super Bowl 23. Montana threw him the same type of ball.
Yep.
He jumped up, caught it, came down with it while being hit by 2 guys, by the way.
Yep. Towards the sideline. Yep. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me stop
Brian,
distracting you guys.
Brian, what were you saying, buddy?
I was just saying, well, just about the kicker. Really, I don't even remember what we were talking about other than that.
I'm sorry, man. I probably derailed you.
You know, the kicker's always the scapegoat, but it wasn't him. There's a whole team there. You know.
So, yeah, I was saying. No, go ahead, Bryant. I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's just about momentum and stuff like that. You know, same thing, you know, that kind of happened with the Niners. If we would have made that kick instead of getting blocked at halftime, we would have maybe come back out after halftime, maybe with a little bit more energy, you know, more spirit, you know, but we came out and then what do we have to do? I think we punted right after halftime, right? So again, it's not always one person's job or one person's individual fault, but I don't know. It's just at a certain point, the Bills were they were going to win that game, and even at the end, you know, wasn't it the Chiefs that ran it all the way down the field, and then they fumbled right there, went out of bounds, and prior to that, I think the Bills had just thrown an interception or something like that. So, I mean, like, I don't know, but that's the way Josh Allen plays. He's a gunslinger. He did throw the ball pretty far a couple times in the game, and you know there was some incomplete passes and. Man, if you would have made some of those rainbow throws or moon bows, whatever you want to call them, but I don't know. It was their game to have, and I'm really, really, really disappointed in the fans at the end of the game. All this was getting thrown at the Chiefs and stuff like that.
That's how they are, though, up there, dude. They're horrible.
I seen at the end of the game, Patrick Mahomes was running over to the sidelines, and he was getting like dodging balls.
Yeah, they was throwing snowballs. Yeah,
they're such sore losers. They talk so
much.
Like
a wristband or something. I don't know, but he gave a kid who was wearing his jersey, I believe, something, and I thought that was really cool. But cool. I mean, I'd be upset if my team lost too, but I don't know. Throwing something at somebody else, I don't know.
See that guy they showed in the crowd crying, like pulling his hat down? I felt bad for that dude.
That dude was feeling it.
That hurts. That hurts. Hey, it's the same team every year. They lose to the same team. The Bills, they're snake bitten. Listen, I don't know why we're talking about the Bills, but I'm just Bills.
It's the playoffs.
They need to change something, whether it's coaching or getting rid of play. Something needs to change because. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The Bills are the definition of insanity. But you know, whatever. They're not in the playoffs anymore. The Niners still are. Niners got to learn how to play some damn defense if they want to beat the Lions. They got to shut them down.
Defense was fine. Come on, we gave up 2 field goals at halftime.
The run defense is leaky as hell.
Okay. The run defense was leaky. Do you know that? Up until 9 minutes in the fourth quarter, Aaron Jones only had 55 yards rushing.
Yeah.
He busted off that 50 yards.
The yards still count, though.
The 53 yards came off of one run.
Right.
Which was a huge bust. We've all seen video of that shit was just terrible.
Can we agree on one thing then? That the 49ers defensive line as far as pass rush, they don't have a pass rush right now. What do they do?
One thing I noticed in this game is they rotated that line way too much for my liking. It was like 2 plays, rotate. 3 plays, rotate. Another 2 plays, rotate. Guys were in and out, especially in the middle. They were in and out. And at one point, that new guy that we just signed, 69, that used to play with
Joseph Day.
Sebastian Joseph Day.
At one point, they showed him, and he didn't know what to do. He was looking around for instruction, and it was like, okay, we need to really settle this thing down and just keep some guys out there for a bit because there's too much going on and there's too many moving parts. So I think, I don't know why that decision was made to move those guys in and out so much, but something definitely needs to be done about that.
I would definitely be a not against after this season, regardless of what the turnout, what happens to us, whether we win the Super Bowl or we don't. I would like to see us move on from the Chris Kaczmarek, the whole wide 9 kind of defense. I think it's kind of ran its course with our team. I would like to see a more traditional defense with more scheming, more stunting, some coverage changes, like showing people things and then changing out of it at the last second. Just like variety. We're so stale. We run the same 4 down and cover, 4 down and cover. If you got a good offensive line, it don't matter who you got. And if they're not getting home, they're just picking apart its zone defense. It's easy. To me, they're not multiple in their fronts. They don't do a lot of whole stuff like, oh, we're just going to rush the passer and we'll get to the running back on the way there. It's great, and it was good for 2019 and stuff. But the longer it's gone on, I'm just not down with it anymore, especially on rundowns. Why are you running the wide 9 on rundowns? Lock that shit up. Push everybody forward. Bring some linebackers up the box. Come on now. Like, if anything has to change, I'm not saying personnel. I'm not saying coaches. Well, maybe a coach, but like just defensively, I would like to see. I'm just so sick of it. But I don't know, man. I watch games and I see other teams have multiple fronts and do different things with their coverage and their linebackers, and they disguise things. And I'm like, oh man, I wish the Niners would do that instead of being so predictable. But what do I know?
I didn't see the Corvette package at all yesterday. And Ty is right. They were rotating all 5 of the interior linemen that we have active. A lot. And I did not see them rotate a defensive end and to rush the passer from the inside. And back when we were getting to the quarterback, that's the type of stuff that we were doing.
Yeah, we didn't force many 3rd and longs. It was funny. We forced a bunch of 2nd and longs, and they were cutting into it. And that's what really kind of hurt us, especially early in the game.
Yep.
That's what made them sustain their drives.
Yeah, because it was like 3rd and short all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
3rd and 1, 3rd and 2.
2nd and 10, 2nd and 9. They would like call a run play or a low pass, and next thing you know, it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. It's like, so that really hurt us.
On top of that, we're passing the ball 39 times in the rain.
That's the other thing that you have a
quarterback
that is it.
We got the real deal, y'all. Get used to it.
I feel like you're being a little bit sarcastic.
What did John Lynch tell you? He's the leader of the clubhouse. You give the leader of the clubhouse the ball.
Unless he can't grip it.
CMC ain't the leader of the clubhouse.
I'm not at the practices. I don't know. I've heard reporters talk and other people who are closer to the team talk, and who's been at practice and say they practice this way or they don't practice this way. But when it comes to weather, and this isn't just one quarterback, we've seen it a couple of times now. We've been beat by Carson Wentz in a river rainstorm, and they're going to say the same thing. We don't practice with wet balls. Pause, whatever you want to say. Come on, folks. For Brock Purdy not to know how he's going to, need to respond out there, and to be a professional too, and not know if you need a glove on your hand. And this isn't the first time that the 49ers, I don't want to blame it on Brock Purdy either, even though he's the quarterback, but we've seen it with CMC too. In the Minnesota Vikings game, he fumbled like twice and then he went and got gloves on, or fumbled once and got gloves on. If you need gloves on, you need gloves on. If that's a benefit, if that's something that helps grip the ball, some guys don't like it because their hands get too sweaty. Pause again, whatever you want to say. But, they make different things to take care of that, right? There's powder that can go in gloves. There's all kinds of things but again, at the end of the day, how many different things do you need to just suit up and go and play football, right? It was supposed to be like man versus man, right? Now it's all these different pads. It's all this different, everything's different, right? Because it's now more advanced. But if you get back to it, the Niners just need to play their style of football. And if it means we got to throw the ball, I'm confident that we can throw the ball and we can pass and stuff. If we run the ball every play, then everybody knows exactly what we're going to do. They're going to stack the box, and then guess what? CMC is not going to be able to break through. There was a couple times he got stuffed. You can't run through the middle of the, and for whatever reason, they're not thinking the way we're thinking or screaming on our couch, put in, the bruiser, put in Mitchell, put in JP Mason or Jordan Mason. These guys are a little bit bigger. I'm not saying, CMC's can't get it done, but every time we see CMC run, he's like Superman. He's jumping over somebody. He's flying through the line, right? These other guys, they can maybe take a little bit more bruising. Maybe they can put out a little bit more physical bruising. I don't know. But throwing the ball a lot during a weather game and not being prepared and not knowing, because he said he took and put the glove on and didn't like how it was reacting, so he took it off. And then the rain stopped and we started playing better. I don't know. I think a lot of it had to do with Debo getting hurt in the beginning of the game and him being our focal point. I think that should have been a helmet-to-helmet penalty. And again, I don't know why, because the way he was running or, but they smacked him in the helmet. And then he come out and they said he was going to go into concussion protocol. And then the next thing you know, it's going to be maybe a shoulder injury. And today what I've heard is it's not a broken shoulder, but he's still in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we don't really need to play him next week. And people are saying, well, no, it's the playoffs. If he's okay to go, he's okay to go. Okay, then put him in as a decoy. Forget I said anything. But the playbook doesn't need to be geared towards him or around him. And then maybe if they're slipping and Debo's like, give me the ball, and he calls his shot, hey, coach, listen to Kyle, then give it to him. If he wants to break the shoulder and really break it, okay, go for it. But, we all know when the Niners don't have Debo on the field, we are attacked differently. The Niners play differently. We added CMC to take some of that pressure away from Debo. I just think, again, we run the ball 40, 50 times. We got a good chance of winning. But if they already know we're going to run the ball 40 or 50 times, we got to be prepared to pass. And to tell me that we don't practice with wet, rain situations, that's not acceptable. This is a professional football team.
There's one thing, too, about throwing a wet ball. A lot of people say hand size. Troy Aikman, if you see, has some of the biggest hands I've ever seen in my life. He couldn't throw a wet ball either, which is crazy. You would think, he's got massive hands. It's just the way some guys grip the ball. It doesn't allow them to hold on to it when it's wet. I don't know. Some people hold the ball. Some people kind of almost like cup it back. So, the hand size, I guess, can affect it, but even like someone with ginormous hands can't grip. Like Troy Aikman did bad in weather games. He had some issues with the ball slipping out way back in the day. They used to talk about it all the time, that he couldn't throw. He had a hard time throwing a wet ball. Debo, you're right, man. Bryant, we're a different team with Debo Samuel on there. The defenses have to totally play you a different way. Well, when he's not in there, they can kind of almost sit on certain things. It's like, do you risk not having him in the Super Bowl if you make it there? Or do you say, listen, this is for everything. We got to have him in this game. Shoot him up with some painkillers and let's go. Like, it's hard to say. I feel like they're gonna need to carry the defense again. Tommy Huxley was talking about, the offense is gonna have to carry us. Yeah, I don't think the defense is gonna do a super bang up job against the Lions. I just don't see it happening. If it does, I'll be pleasantly shocked. But I just think they're going to need to score, in upwards of 30 some odd points to beat them. And Debo being in there makes that happen.
Well, they've done that.
Oh, I agree.
Last season, right?
I know.
Shouldn't be a problem. And they did it without Debo last season. Shouldn't be a problem.
It shouldn't be.
Not having Debo
game plan
should not hold back the offense.
The game plan this week probably had a lot to do with Debo. And when he was knocked out of the game, it's like,
that's Kyle again. I don't understand that.
So to me, and in addition to that, the wet ball issue, this comes down to coaching for me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coaching and you know that, okay, it's going to be a rainy day. I've seen my quarterback have some issues with rain, a wet ball. Just earlier in this season, we've seen it. Hey, Brock, every day after practice, we're going to practice throwing with a wet football. We're going to bring in some buckets of water. We're going to wet the ball. I need you to throw. Get used to the grip. Just get used to it. And you coach that up to make him feel comfortable. You don't wait until game day and say, do you want to wear a glove, not wear a glove? that has to be done during the week, right? When you don't have Deebo Samuel, or even Deebo's in there, right? You prepare your backups to take his role. You prepare to, okay, if Deebo goes down and I want to run a jet sweep,
Yeah.
Who am I going to put in there? Juwan Jennings or Ray McLeod?
Ray.
I'm going to put in Ray. We've run a jet sweep with him before, and it was successful. Let's use him. You don't put JJ out there. That's coaching, right? If you want to run a
4.7 speed, yeah, exactly. You don't have to do
if
stuff.
You want to
like
run
that.
a tough crossing route over the middle. Who are you going to use, Ray or Jennings? You're going to throw Jennings out there. It's coaching. That can be made up. But you have to be mindful of that.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Todd. Am I mistaken?
No, fine.
But no, it's not. It's about being polite and professional. But
yeah.
Did I see right? Did I hear right? Did they have a handoff to Juwan Jennings?
Yeah.
Boy,
you are right.
Did Kyle come out and say that was a play calling mistake?
Yeah. He said Ron Burgundy did it. Yeah.
How do you mistake that? Like, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Coaching, situational awareness.
Not just the players.
Debo's not out there, and you call a play that's run by Debo. Make sure your personnel is right. Okay, it can't be JJ. It can't be Juwan. It's got to be McLeod or Conley. Conley runs a 4-3, 4-4. Have him run it. They'll probably never expect him running that either.
What about the run option that they did with the quarterback and then you just ran out of bounds?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are these? Kyle tightens up in big games. Can we admit that?
Well, yes. And the debacle before the half was terrible. That was the clock management. The way that half ended was terrible. That was playing without any guts.
Yes.
That was playing with fear.
Yep.
And you know what? Situational awareness, right? You're moving the ball. Go score. It's important to put points on the board. Your defense has held them to 2 mere field goals this entire half. Stop them on the 4th and short. They're playing well. And they're doing it primarily with the run. Okay, at the end of the half, they can't run the ball. You make them one-dimensional. That plays into your favor, right? Have some guts. Have some trust in your defense to stop them. The way the game ended is the same way the first half should have ended. They should have went down, tried to score, punch it in, and say, hey, there's 55 seconds left on the clock. Okay, Green Bay, try to beat our defense to get downfield for 55 seconds. That's what the way it should have been. Jordan Love, can you move this team downfield in 55 seconds just by yourself, right? No run game. Let's see you try to do it. Kyle did not have any guts on that one. He punked up.
We blame the players all the time, offense, defense. Kyle, he coaches, man, he coach scared, man. Andy Reid was the same until he got Patrick Mahomes, right? That was like he failed a lot. Or remember the Bucks back in the late 90s, they couldn't get to the path to get to the Super Bowl. They would fail every year in the championship game. It's like the Niners need their breakthrough. They need their breakthrough game from Kyle too, not just the players. They need a breakthrough coaching game, like a coaching clinic where he comes out and offensively just calls one of the best games he's ever called.
Yeah.
He's just as much to blame for the team being a certain way. Like, for instance, if your quarterback is struggling and you're having issues throwing the ball, there's certain throws you can throw that can get a quarterback kind of clicking. And Kyle just is like, no, we're going to throw the ball like a wide open sets, no one in the backfield. And it just, you're right. Situational awareness. It's like people that don't have social cues when they're in a group of people and they interrupt or they're weird or they're rude. They'll chew with their mouth open at dinner with a bunch of friends. It's like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? It's Kyle is this team, man. Like, if you want to win a Super Bowl, man, like the level of coaching, not just the players playing, needs to be on another level. I think he can. That's the thing. I think he can. He just has to go out and prove it. Yeah. I'm super negative because that game, like I said, that game just really pissed me off in a lot of ways. So,
I don't know every one of their formations or plays, obviously, and I think it's really cool that Johnny Dell, he actually has the playbook from a couple years ago. That's pretty neat.
Mhm.
But when you're looking at it, I see opportunities like you're explaining. You're going to 4 wide receiver sets. We don't have those wide receivers to be running that, but okay, so give our guys a shot. Okay. But why aren't we putting somebody in the backfield like Juice or maybe CMC to have them do the same thing, but have them block there for a second and slip out to the side a little bit? Like, I just don't see the reason. Like we're running some formations that we are. I know the wet game yesterday, on Saturday, there was a pass that he tried to dump off to, I want to say CMC on the side, and it went to the right, too far. But that stuff is unacceptable. You should know the weather, and then the cleats, the situation on slipping on the field and stuff like that. How can you, this is the 49ers, man. We've been playing like that since this. Kyle was a water boy in Candlestick, right? Cleats, right? So
when the tide would come in and they would literally we would put longer cleats on,
Had
and
to.
the other team wouldn't yet.
Yeah.
The whole team was slipping. Everybody. And nobody was slipping on Green Bay. Like, how is that even happening?
Yeah. I think they just came out with long cleats, like, let's not slip. I don't know. Man. I wasn't upset about the game. The halftime thing really upset me because I was like, why are we wasting so much time? And it seems like whenever there's a 2-minute drill, a hurry up situation, this team moves so slow, which again comes down to coaching. Like, why are you not coaching rapido? We got to speed this up. It's 2-minute drill.
Blow the whistle. Do it again. Let's go.
Exactly. Time is not on our side. We have to run these plays quick, and we just move so slow, and so much time is just wasted. It was like, it's the playoffs. It's win or go home. There is no next week.
Yes.
Go down, put points on the board. You get the ball back. You go down, put points on the board again. You can put this thing away early.
Yep.
But no.
To me, they played like a team that was expecting things to happen. Like, oh, someone will make a play. Someone will make a stop on defense. Someone will make a play on offense instead of like manifesting it by doing it. It was just like this weird feeling of like, well, we've done it before. Like, that doesn't fucking matter, dude. Like, it's the playoffs. Like you said, you do realize if we lose, we're done, right? 1 seed, all that happiness, capturing the 1 seed and people dancing in Kyle Shanahan's office when we got the 1 seed and we have home field, and then you come out and that's kind of the performance that you put out there. Bosa, he didn't play well.
Bosa played well. He was getting pressure. He was in there.
Well, nobody else did.
That last interception, who was the guy chasing? Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I misspoke. He was playing.
And he had some good run stops where you just smothered the running back, beat the lineman, and smothered the running back. Bosa was playing.
If you look at the thumbnail for this video, though, you'll see, Greenlaw getting the interception. You'll see Jordan Love over in the corner laying on his back watching Greenlaw get the interception. I was trying to get one that had Bosa in there hanging over Jordan Love, but I couldn't. I couldn't get that. There was no picture of that. So,
Kinlaw started the game pretty hot, but then he kind of fizzled out. I didn't see much after him, but at the beginning of the game, he was pretty dominant, I thought, but I don't know. I think we need somebody else, and maybe Chase Young is in it. Hargrave isn't it. Armstead's getting older. He definitely helped in the game, but Bosa definitely, he's getting paid a lot, and everybody wants to see him perform, and they get upset because they're not seeing sacks. But just like we just saying, like at the end, he did put pressure on the quarterback. Maybe he didn't get that ultimate victory sack that we want. We feel like we're paying for, right?
But let's not forget, he's also double teamed and chipped. Like, he's in the top 3 of defensive linemen that get double teamed and chipped throughout a game. Like, teams focus on him.
That's what I don't understand about the rest of this defense.
Well, that's why when we got Chase Young, we were all hyped up like, oh, yeah, you can't. If you're going to double team Bosa, he's just going to wreak havoc on the other side. And that hasn't been the case.
No. He's exactly what a lot of people said he was. He takes off plays. He doesn't really have a lot of pass rush moves. He's kind of a one-trick pony.
Yep. We're seeing it.
And then you got Hargrave you pay all this money to. It's like, where's the penetration in the run game, dude?
It's
like,
not as consistent as it should be.
Yeah, like Ryan's right, man. This offseason, man, we get mad at the Niners for always drafting off defensive players in the draft. Like, oh, why are they drafting another defensive player? Because it proves that we need more. So go draft another end in the first round. If we're not going to draft an offensive tackle, because we hear that Trent Williams is coming back for 2014. So don't reach in the first. Stay where you are and get a pass rusher again. I don't know. Go get enough. Like, nobody should be safe, in my opinion. There's certain players in the team that are safe, like Bosa, Greenlaw, Warner. Hufanga, maybe certain other players on offense. But like, to me, like, until you get it right, everybody should be like on notice. And so a lot of people say that, we're going to come out and we're going to play better in the next games because of the weather. We'd like to hope so. We can't always blame the weather either, because the other team's playing in the weather too. This whole thing, we had, we're slipping and this and that and the weather. It's like, so the Packers had the same problems. So,
And they lost.
You remember last year, I wanted that thick fellow in the middle, that redwood, that gigantic beast nose tackle type of interior lineman that, could eat a pizza on his way to the quarterback, or just eat up the offensive lineman so the other guys could get to the quarterback. That's the type of player I wanted. But the Niners don't seem to be into those 6'3", 340-ish guys. It's just for some reason.
They're so preoccupied on the pass rush that they didn't
fail to pass rush.
Yeah, but it's like get yourself a really gigantic defensive tackle that will sit there and so a lot of these plays that the Niners get burnt on, where guys roll out the back of the formation and the pass rusher misses them. Man, if you get interior rush, that changes things, especially with a guy like Lamar Jackson. If you're always rushing from the corners, all these quarterbacks do is they just pirouette out the back and then they run up the sideline. Like, it happens every time. Whereas if you have a guy that can push the pocket into his face, then you push them into the outside rushers. It's like the Niners don't have that. It's the ends crash, and then there's these massive ass gaps where quarterbacks either run up the gap or whatever. And it's just, I hate to talk about the draft and while we're in the playoffs, but you always got to look to the future of, like, you see things when you watch enough games. We're all watching a ton of games. We all are 49er fans. People are like, oh, you guys your team's good. What are you talking about? And it's like, no, we watch enough games to know that, like, there's deficiencies in certain areas. And one of those areas is that defensive tackle area. Like, yeah, that's cool. You can rush the passer, but can you stop the run? Can you do the dirty work? Can you push the center into the quarterback's pocket? Yeah.
Everybody right now.
DJ Jones. Oh, sorry, Bryant.
I was just going to say, everybody in the chat's talking about, like, why not get a right tackle in the draft? And that's a good question, and that's a really good question. But I think the problem is nobody wants to play right tackle, because how many left-handed quarterbacks are really in the NFL? So everybody wants to play left tackle. And if you get a really good tackle, they don't necessarily want to go and play right tackle because they don't get paid as well. But if we was to get a right tackle, that'd be great. And then there were some people in the chat as well who threw out Gutierrez from our foreign exchange student program, right? And it's really sad because he is a huge dude. We're never going to play him. He's never going to get to play.
But he's a guard. It's just kind of like a mauler.
We're getting like a government check or something like that because he's on the team or something like that. I mean, it's really sad. I don't know why I don't know, like there's a lot of people that need jobs in America, and I'm not saying that he's, but I don't understand the program. I don't get it. It's like if you're not going to use the guy, you're not going to play the guy. Like he's just here on the practice squad. Like I know there's a lot of people. I mean, there's all kinds of people here in my city that would love to be on a practice squad, and I'm sure they're just be on a punching bag as anyone else, right? I mean, if you're not going to play the guy and he's just going to stand there and get the football thrown at him or something like that, what I mean? Like, Like, I don't know. It's just he's a huge guy, and if he's got talent, then use it, right? But if he doesn't have any talent, what are we doing? Like, how long is he going to be on our team? How long are we supposed to be coaching him up until he gets his shot? And I didn't know the Niners or the NFL had farm teams. Like,
it's practice squad. I mean, but he's a guard, and if you bring him in, who's he going to replace? Is he replacing Banks? No. Is he replacing Burford or the other guy at right guard? No.
Yeah, the Niners need to do away with that and actually get themselves.
There's only so many things you can do. Now I'm all for getting the right tackle and also getting a left tackle for the future. Because Trent says he's coming back next year, but this is the last year of his contract. That would be the last year of his contract, and I can see him walking away after that. Like, hey, I stayed with the team throughout my contract. I'm done. I'm going to go live my life and be well.
Yeah, you would think they would want to get his replacement while he's still here.
Find his replacement now so you can coach him up. He can work with Trent on a daily basis, and you're set for the future. You don't have to panic and get the guy at the last minute because you have nothing. That's the way to do it.
Ooh. Tommy brings up Robert Beal Jr. is who you're talking about, Tommy.
He was supposed to be the speed rusher, and I thought
I've heard good things about him, but you know how Kyle is. He don't want to play. I don't like playing rookies.
It's the reason why Jair Brown's not in there right now.
Yeah, he's got Logan Ryan out there, and
I was shocked when I saw Ryan start the game. I was like, where the F is 27?
Yeah, that's what I was saying too when I saw
never came in.
I know Logan Ryan's a veteran, but honestly, I think Jair Brown's done enough to earn that job.
Yes. He's done enough in the pass game and the run game to keep that spot. He should be out there.
Yes, I have to agree with that. But yeah, we got the chat's popping, 49er Minded's in here. He's got a channel. Go check him out.
My guy, Bashar.
Kenny 49er Culp's actually new to it, so check him out. John LaJoy. Tony Culp came in sooner. Ladies of the Niners every couple weeks, guys.
That's right. Queen.
Folks, so should go check it out.
A better half of the Culp family. Sorry, Brian.
Yes. But yeah, so at this point, we've got the Lions coming to town. We got to catch some feral cats, however you want to look at it. We used to have this wood pile like in this field behind my place, and all kinds of feral cats live there. Now the wood pile's gone. They're gone. So maybe we need to, do the same thing.
Yeah. Hey, listen, last week we all expected an easier game versus Green Bay, and we got a hard-fought game. This week, we're all expecting a hard-fought game versus the Lions. Maybe we'll get an easier game. Maybe the football gods are playing a cruel joke on us.
Hey, you never know.
It could go that way.
It really could work out that way, right?
And it could be all smiles next Sunday, from beginning to end. So we'll see.
That's true. All right. So what you guys got going on this week? Aaron, what you got, buddy? Oh,
he's frozen.
Oh, you froze for a second.
Yeah, I think it's telling me that I need to go.
It's time.
My internet
it's cool. We're getting on out of here. But yeah, what you got going on this week, buddy?
Who, me?
Yeah.
The usual. I have me and Ted Talks Ball, or Ted, on Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern. Raj 9:30 Eastern on Thursday, and me and Bashar this Saturday. It's going to be fun. Me and Bashar, I think we usually go about 6 p.m. I actually reached out to I said it in passing, but I wasn't really like expecting him to respond. But I asked Joe Shasky once again. I was like, "Hey, I'd love to have you on, but I'm just putting it out there, just a throwaway comment." And he said maybe after, I was assuming, I think he's thinking maybe during Super Bowl week or something. But I'm thinking like, we got to get there first. So either he's going to be talking to me about the Super Bowl or going to be talking about off-season priorities or something. So we'll see. But yeah, that's what's going on this week. I'll make sure I always promote all my stuff all over social media, TikTok and everything. Not that it really does anything, but I do it anyways. You never know. So maybe you break through one day. So you do it until
all you can do is try.
So that's it. I always love doing Mondays. You guys on Monday. It's always an easy stream. There's not a lot of difficulty with it. We don't really go like topic heavy and like have to stay on topic. We usually all have enough to say from our own, just like something that bothered us or something that's pissing us off. Like I'm in a real pissy mood. Not at you guys, at the Niners. The Niners got me hot. Yeah. So 49er minded. I said what I said.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out, again, my boy Jake Moody came through for us.
We ain't talk about that. Let him know, Brian.
Right?
After all that crap, week 18, let him know, Brian.
Right, it was just great. Sure, someone got their spirit fingers up and tipped the ball, and it went into halftime and we didn't get points. But when we come back out later on, he got a shot and he kicked it up right. And again, it's a 50-50 chance every time you go. Bam, 52, just like Ty said. So yes, let's go.
Made all the PAT.
We coined the season the Moody season because we've had a lot of ups and downs this year, so we are definitely in our feelings this year. So I think it was great, the whole game overall. But what I got going on this week, I'll be hanging out with David on Wednesday doing the our last pick'ems almost. Well, we have the Super Bowl to pick too, so we have the playoff pick'ems on the Lockdown Corey Davis show on David McNiner's channel, and then I think potentially me and David, and maybe me, David, and Kenny will do a show on Thursday, possibly Friday. We'll figure out somebody to host the Friday night show, and maybe we'll get Ty to do it here one day, and then we'll go from there. Saturday and Sunday, same thing. We'll do the coffee talk, and then Sunday, me and David will be dual streaming the McNiner and Culp, or Culp and McNiner show on Sundays. You'll look for us. You'll know it's us. We'll have our suits and ties on. So yeah, check us out. Tony,
the suit and ties. I love it.
And Tony's show real quick. She's not on hiatus or anything. She's just trying to figure out the best time to stream. You can't stream the Niner game and talk about the Niners when the Niner game is on. That just don't work out. So, but yeah, she'll be working with the ladies to get something going on here soon, and we'll go from there. But yeah, thanks, David.
That's good news.
Ty, what you got going on?
Yeah, it's a busy week work wise, so I'm not sure. But I was going to do a Telestrator Tuesday tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to happen, folks, but stay tuned. I got some Niners people lined up to do a show, but they're so busy with the freaking playoffs that the scheduling is just up in the air. So we'll see. But Wednesday night, I am doing my East Coast Red and Gold podcast with Jess, Matt, and Rebecca. That's Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, East Coast Red and Gold. Everybody tune into that.
Nice.
Heck yeah. Maybe one day we could get you to host a Friday night.
We'll see.
I'm totally messing. That's something you don't have to do. But
I ain't got family coming into town or some crap. It's hard living in New York because everybody wants to pop in on you like, hey, can I come crash? And can you take me here? And it's like, oh. Fine.
I think I only live in Rochester and not like near New York City or anything. Nobody cares about Rochester.
But yeah, all right, folks, we're gonna get on out of here. And it's always go Niners. And as Corey Davis would say, F all 31 other teams.
All